Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo, Furst here to see the Nafshi. Getting ready for Pesach, 2 weeks away, more or less, a little bit actually more. And we're here in Yerushalyim, HaKodesh, in the basic Knesset of Yeshivas. We'll be learning a little bit extra after HaKodesh for the next 2 weeks before Pesach. There's a lot to learn. We're right now in the Mishna Berura or Chaim, Simin Tafayin, Gimel Sif Vov. Matziyah, you like to do a bit of reading for us?
Sure.
Okay, Samitiya Sif Vov. Natal Yadav.
Notel Yadav, L'tzorech Tibul, Rishon, V'lo, Yivarech, Al, Hantila. V'yikach.
Okay, so let's stop there. So a person should wash his hands for the first wash, for the first dipping. Right? Tibul is dipping. A person should wash his hands for the first dipping. V'lo Yivarech, not to make a bracha on the titila. Okay? You just simply wash your hands just as if you would be washing for bread normally. Right? But here you don't make a bracha.
V'yikach mehakarpas, bachos mikazayis.
Kazayis.
Kazayas. Kazayas.
A zayas is literally an olive. So you take the less than an olive's worth, right? Which is basically 28 grams or so.
Umat bilo, b'chometz. Umvarech, b'rei, peri, ha'adama. V'ochel, v'eino, mavarech, acharav.
Okay, let's stop there. Right, so he dips the carpets, which he took less than a kazayas, and he dips it in chametz and vinegar.
This year you have a problem. Some people that do because it's Shabbos.
Right, right. You have to be careful with the Berura also.
You have to prepare everything before Shabbos. It's Shabbos this year, so you have to prepare everything before Shabbos.
Why use vinegar?
First of all, we use vinegar. And our charoses are already ground. So when we mix them up, we make hard balls charosa. It's all ground stuff. It's in the processor, the dates.
Falafel balls,
it's falafel, but it's charosas. It's all fruits and nuts. Okay. And then that night we mix it with the wine.
Okay.
So there's no problem because it's already been ground before.
Yeah, but it's a prasha lisha.
The who?
Lisha.
No, you don't have that problem with this. I have a whole shuvas in this one. I told you, we're Moroccans, we have different laws. Different Ashkenaz and different Sfardim. So you have to be careful of that. But it's all within halacha.
Sure
our rabbis give us permission.
Okay, and you make a break for your gedama on the karpas, and then you eat it, right? And you don't make a bracha afterwards. Let's see the Mishna.
In the cholent, one of the wrong cholent is potatoes, a lot of potatoes, eggs, chickpeas, and meat.
Okay.
And I've seen great rabbis take the potato and the egg and meat, the chickpeas, and they mash it up with the gravy, and it becomes like a mashed potatoes.
Right.
Okay, and they ate it, and there was no problem. So we have different, and then this we're different. That's all.
What?
Most Ashkenazim do it.
Okay. Vov, Mishna Berura?
Yes.
L'tzorech Tibul, Rishon. Kamo, Shem Faresh, V'holech. V'hata'am, Techal, Devar, Shetibulo, V'mashkeh. Tzarich Natila.
The reason you're washing here before you dip your carpus in the vinegar or salt water is because anything that is dipped into liquid, primarily the 7 liquids, has to have a washing of the hands first before that. And that's explained in the Kuf Nun Ches. That's in the second halach of the Mishna Berura.
Uch Dilel, B'siman Kufnun Chet. Okay. V'lo Yivarech V'chui. Uchmo Shepasach Sapasik Hamchaber La'el B'siman Kufnun Chet.
I mean, this, when you're washing for bread, you have to wash with the bracha on the Netilas Yadayim. And when you're washing for fruits and vegetables that are wet, you don't ever make a bracha on the Netilas Yadayim. That's as explained.
Is that everybody washes, or just?
Everybody washes. Because everyone's going to be dipping and eating.
V'ya'an Shem b'Mishna Berura Da'as Hagrai.
But das Hagro,
Hagro.
Hagro, Indian Zen. If you look there at the ayin, you see the ayin in the Sharatzina. It's the very last two lines on the page. You have there ayin. They can't mean your name because of a grog yigore. According to the Vilna Gaon, you make a bracha. Okay? They don't need to make a bracha. Komakom here in the Dafta Imo Kazayas. That's going to be according to the opinion of the Vilna Gaon, right? Dafka specifically it's a Kazayas. We'll explain a lot about this later because really you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to really be. It's not necessary to wash if you're having less than a Kazayas. Well, Gro, Ikar Din Tibo Bamash Koi. That's a Kazayas. That's when you have to wash, right? And even according to the going with the bracha. The low pechos mekazayas, kasabu mechaber. I'm the Berura. You have to take a look at the Berura. The Mishna is going to go into details about that. Maybe we'll see that, but that's the point that's being mentioned over here. If you want to see more about this kazayas, take a look on the Berura. That's the left side of the page, the smaller print, about 4 lines up. In my edition, at least, you have pechos mekazayas. Have that there. It's a little bit small for you to read, probably, Mrs. Yao. Your edition may be a little bit different, where it's
I
located.
can't come up with it.
All right.
Where you go?
Vav. No, that's Mishna.
It should be on page Reish Yud Ches, the very last line in Reish Yud Ches.
Okay, thank you.
The Chos Mekazayas. Is that too small for you to read there?
I think I might.
Okay.
Bachos mikazayas mikan mashma the davar shetibulo b'mashkeh tzarich natila afilu b'fachos mikazayas.
So the Chavetz Chaim's writing, based on the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch, it seems to, based on the Mechaber, it seems that a thing which is even less than the kazayas needs to have a washing beforehand, right? Kuf Yud Ches. Bottom line. Right.
Okay.
So that's what is indicated from the Mechaber, that it's something which is less than a kazayas, right? It also needs to have a hand washing, right? But we'll see about that.
Af shebefas
Shebepas, meaning bread, even with bread, gomer, even with actual bread, kasev a Mechaber,
b'siman kufnon chet. B'shem yesh omrim de'ein tzarich. Natila.
meaning even by bread there are opinions. If you can have less than a kazayas of bread, you don't have to wash your hands for that. There are opinions. So there's something which is a little bit unusual here. Why are you going to be washing? Yeah, why are you going to be washing if you're eating kos mekazayas? Go ahead.
Okay. Natila b'fachos makazayas v'zehu shelo kamo shekasavnu sham b'mishna berura b'saif katan chaf Uchvar ha'irosi zos bahad pasa shniya b'shulei hagilayon. Achen ka'es uchvar ha'irosi zos. Did I just read that line?
Achen kezos mesasi li tana messiah li divorah. Right? You're now at this point, the Chavetz Chaim is writing that he found someone to support him in his opinion. Right? That less than a kazayas, right? You're not obligated to wash, right? And he found someone to support him in this. Okay.
Halo hu harashba.
Rashbatz.
Rashbatz. B'sefer Yavin. Shemua Daf Lamed Hey. Shekasav Ba'inyan Karpas Dida'as Harambam Bavarinan Deva'inan Kazayas.
So the Rashbatz writes in the name of the Rambam that the Rambam requires that you take kazayas. If you can wash, you should be taking kazayas. Right? I mean, that's what you do. You take the kazayas in general.
We take whatever they want to eat. The kids, we just put it on the table.
What's the problem? They do kazais.
Excuse me.
It's a
What's the
shiloh
problem?
of a bracha chrona.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Well, if you eat kazayas, you should really be making a bracha achrona because you're not going to be eating enough. It's before the Suda, right? And therefore you're eating kazayas, and you're not going to have anything of bracha achrona to follow up on it, right? So therefore, you should really eat less than a kazayas, and then you won't be obligated to make a bracha achrona. But if you're eating less than kazayas, you're not really supposed to be washing your hands. So if you take a kazayas in order to wash your hands, you're supposed to make a bracha achrona. And if you make a bracha achrona, you're not going to be helping to cover the mortar later on, right? So you're all tied up in knots in this situation.
That's what's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everybody does it, and everybody does it their own way, and it's all right. Shivim panim la Torah, 70 faces to the Torah, right?
Yeah.
This one does it this way, this one does this one, and it's all right, and nobody can argue because it's all falling halacha.
Yeah. So let's see what the Berura says. So it's coming out now. The Rambam's pretty big already, right? That you should really be taking, and really most opinions will agree that you really need to be taking kazayas, right? Because of the came mistaber, it's also very logical that way. Go ahead.
And where are we now? Back in Mishnah Berura?
Yeah,
That's
Bir halacha.
Still Bir halacha?
We left off.
Okay. Uchvar ha'irosi. Is that where we are? Or Shemua Daf? No. V'chasav
Because of the angel
Dechein
mistaber.
Mistaber.
That's right.
Dechevav
The chayvan.
Dechevan Detzarich Natila Baradai Bavadai Kazayas Ba'inan Kivochel Pas Gamur.
So it's logical why because if you're going to need to wash your hands, and everyone agrees you have to wash your hands, right? You've got to, because that's part of the Mishna. Why wash your hands 2 times?
You have to wash your hands because you wash the earth, right? So you have to wash your hands.
Yeah, right. But then if that's the case, you should be taking a kazayas, right?
No.
Right? Because that's the way it is, and even by bread itself.
What's the problem? Say, but what in the Furst afterwards? What's the
Well, because you have to with your moro that you're going to be eating, right?
You say it again.
You could say it again, but
If you hadn't made motzi yet, why don't you make
it's
mazonos?
not so much because that's in the moro that you're having later. You really wash that motzi. Really, you made a motzi, so there's a certain way.
That's the potem because you don't want the moro to go together with the matzah.
Yeah.
So you should separate them.
So really, it's not so simple that it would be require 100% bracha by itself. Yeah.
Could you say mazonos on the matzah?
No, you
No,
can't.
that,
We
the,
can.
the matzah's not going to help you. See, because you got yourself your parsley or your celery or potato, let's say, whatever you take it for the karpas, right? And you make a brei pri hadama on that, right? So you want that brei pri hadama to jump all the way over to when you're having your mortar. Your mortar is going to be after you wash your hands and make hamotzi and eat your matzah, right? After you finish eating your matzah, then you're going to have mortar, right? And that mortar, right, is not exactly considered to be part of the meal. If it was really part of the meal, just like if you would have fish, you're not going to make a broth on the fish because you have washed. The bread that you ate carries the patur, the exemption for all the other things you have in your meal, except if it's something which is not really part of the meal. So the mortar, it's questionable whether it's really part of the meal, right? So you want to have a brei pri hadama at the very beginning in order to cover for the mortar. But if you have a kazayas, right, and it's going to be so long that that you will lose your bracha achrona, you have to make a bracha achrona after you do kazayas of say celery. And if you make a bracha achrona, you're not going to be able to have that exemption existing for the moral, right? And on the other hand, you have to wash your hands. And really, the truth is that to wash your hands, you have to have a kazayas, right? If it's less than a kazayas, there's some opinions, even if you have bread less than a kazayas, you don't even have to wash your hands, right? So we're getting to we're hopefully going to get to what the good advice is. Let's just finish. Actually, the Berura doesn't really give us the true answer to this situation. Let's see. Since you need you have to wash. So if you have to wash, you definitely need to have a kazayas, just like if you were eating bread, right? The mistave einu chayev netila, the vare lo gozru the gon zeh mishun srak chunav. It's because the only time you have the obligation to wash, if it's going to be a fair, strong amount, which is at least a kazayas. Kimokain meaning peiros, just like the same with peiros. If you eat less than a kazayas, you don't have to wash your hands for peiros either. If you have a little cube of apple, a little cube of tomato, you have even a cherry tomato, a small cherry tomato, it may not be a full shear. So therefore, you don't have to wash in theory, right? The tzorchi in ledina, the Chafetz Chaim left it as a question unanswered. So what I was taught that what you could do to try and get out of the problem is you take an amount which is more than a kazayas, but you only eat pachos b'kazayas. So what you're dipping is more than a kazayas, right? But no one says that you have to actually eat the whole thing. So that's
everybody's going to find their own little niche in this halachic. And I say totally different. I say we have a seder,
yeah,
and this night is different.
yeah.
That's what it is. A different night.
Do you sit on sofas?
What? No.
Maybe that's yours.
No, that's the Lebanese do that. Lebanese on the floor.
Who holds
Lebanese Jews?
that the charosis is part of the meal?
The moror. Well, it's a question that exists anytime. Like let's say you're serving a meal, right? Let's say you have a meal and you have a fruit cocktail that you wash. Have a fruit cocktail where you have a piece of melon at the beginning of the meal, right? That's a question whether you make a separate bracha on the fruit cocktail or the melon, right? Because is that really part of the meal, right?
Who holds that it is?
There's a whole section of Shulchan Aruch that goes into this question.
Okay.
If you do it
So there's plenty of people
Yeah.
that say, you know what, that's part of the meal. You don't even have a problem.
Right.
Okay.
Say what about it.
I've planned a meal or two in my life.
I certainly hope so.
And I'm telling you that these women that are in that kitchen, they plan this meal.
Sure.
And I can promise you, in their planning, they have the beginning and the end. It's all part of the same meal.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
So in terms of the serving, that's correct. But the question is, why do certain things come? You know, there are certain places that after you have certain courses, they serve a sherbet in the middle after
It's called an intermezzo.
intermezzo. So what's the purpose of
To clean your palate.
Clean your
To
palate.
separate the course so that you
Right.
don't have the same flavor from this course to that course.
Right. Okay. Now, is that considered part of the meal or not?
Absolutely.
Well, it's part of the meal, but the question is that part of your meaning? What does when you
Did
make a
I
broch,
not go out of my way to make that intermezzo
100%.
something special and,
Yes,
and
yes.
unique and
Right,
different?
Right. 100%.
I didn't-
However, when we
When it comes to
say
blessings, when it comes to blessings.
no, when we say that when you make a bracha on the hamotzi, and that's going to cover you. You're going to have fish. You're going to have soup. You're going to have salad. You're going to have roast beef with potatoes, right? Right? All the things that what we call are coming to accompany the pas, coming to accompany the bread. I mean, the bread is what you're really eating. Everything else is coming to add to your eating of the bread, right?
Okay.
Now there are certain things which don't come to accompany the bread. They accompany to clean your palate, right? That's not coming to. You don't eat bread and sherbet, right? That's not a meal, right? Just like when you go at the end of your meal, when you have your ice cream, right, or you have some nuts or peanuts or something like that, right? Those things are not coming to accompany the bread. That's what we call a dessert. You may not have benched yet, right? But those things are coming separately from the meal. That's the end of the meal. But that's not coming to add to your enjoyment of the bread. When eating that roast beef and all the other things, when you're digging into the soup and you put the bread into that soup and slop it up, and that's coming to enjoy the bread in a better way, right? That intermezzo is not coming to help you enjoy the bread in a different way. So there, in theory, and even according to many opinions, an intermezzo, that sherbet would require a bracha. Just like if you wanted to have some popcorn in the middle of the Suda, right? What's popcorn doing before? I want to have popcorn with my roast beef. Listen, I want it. That's what I want. So in practice, you would most likely have to make a Priyatama on those peanuts. Just like we wanted to eat almonds in the middle of the soup. You want to start eating a bunch of raisins in the middle of the soup.
It becomes funny, you have no problems now.
And how come that is?
Because after the Kiddush on Friday night, we make blessings between the Kiddush and the Emotzi.
To cover all the different things you may eat?
So you have no questions during the meal that you want to add anything. We've already
made the bracha for it.
Yeah. So
And
that's
we don't do it for that reason. We do it for the reason of making 100 blessings a day. There's a way to add more blessing. But while you're doing that, it's included into the
Although that's not so simple, because really, if let's say any time, not specifically on Shabbos, let's say I know I'm gonna wash in 10 minutes, right? But right now I want a snack. I want to have a coffee and some almonds, right? So before I wash and make a motzi, I'm supposed to make a bracha achrona. Because what is a big question. What I make. If I make a shakol, right? If I make a shakol now, and in 10 minutes I'm going to wash, and in an hour from now I'm going to have some ice cream, it's a very big question whether my shakol is going to cover that ice cream.
Yet, if I'm not mistaken, if you wash and have a meal and you want to drink, there's a machlokas if you have to make a bracha.
Right.
And they said
that's
to avoid
by water. That's by water.
By what? They said to avoid that, to make a bracha beforehand, make a shout before, and you have it into the meal. So you have it on both sides of the fence again. You have something on both. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just saying because I read that and I said because I never understood why drinking is such an integral part. At least today's world, drink is an integral part of our meal. So to make a separate bracha, I found like a bracha. I'm not a bracha. I found like some bracha. But then I have read that you should make a shakol before the meal so you don't run into this problem. But then that shakol is covered for during the bench.
So that's the question. That's whether when we make that shakol, whether you should have pekos from shear, if you should have less than a shear, because once you've had more than a shear, you're really obligated. That's what's the whole point about having pekos mekazayas here by the carpus, Because if you have more than kazayas, you're really supposed to be making a bracha achrona before you make a motzi.
Right.
The same thing with the chalachayim. You have
What's
your
that,
fish.
after bracha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with your, you want to make a l'chaim, you had your fish, and now you want to make a l'chaim, have some schnapps or something like that. There are some folks who say you have to make a shakol on that.
Really? It's not covered by the Kiddush?
You know?
It
Because,
is mikaven.
well, even if he's mechaber, I do it every, I always have to make a l'chaim after the fish and before the meat. I always make it, but that's not, what's that coming for, right? What's that schnapps coming for? It's because it's part of my enjoyment of the meal, of the bread, or is it coming because I'm not supposed to have fish and meat together?
You're obviously not a good drinker, Rabbi.
Cleaning your palate.
Also does that too. Yeah, it cleans it down. Yeah.
Wow.
A liquid intermezzo.
There you go. Okay, I guess we'll stop here.
All right.
And,
Thank you,
Mr. Shem,
Rabbi.
hope you can continue if you